All right, so what I wanted to do was document my experiences and tell my doctor everything that I can in a short amount of time, briefly, so that I can get it out so I don't have to keep retelling this story, because every time I tell it, it's not easy. But anyway, I decided to go and do an ayahuasca retreat while I was visiting Peru for my mother. And I had gone to Peru to sprinkle ashes at Machu Picchu, my mom's ashes who'd passed. And so, as a psychologist, she was very interested in ayahuasca because of the DMT molecule that it contains. It contains DMT, which really helps rewire your brain, apparently. And I have suffered from mental illness, as my doctor knows, my entire adult life, and even some earlier than that. But I've tried all the doctors, the pills, and everything else, and I wanted to give this a chance because supposedly this plant medicine that has been used for 12,000 years really does magical things. And so I was so excited to have the opportunity to go to Peru and to try to experience this for my mom in her honor, basically, and to sprinkle her ashes. Well, I arrived April 22nd into Cusco, Peru, and in the morning, and or around the afternoon, but I was exhausted. I checked into my hotel, and I was, like I said, tired, so I decided to go to a shamanistic massage, which was a local retreat center place that does ayahuasca and different ceremonies, but I just wanted to start with the massage. But when I got picked up at my hotel by this lady who works there, I was convinced to go to their facility instead because they offered a greater variety. At this one facility I was considering, there was only one shaman. This supposedly was a community shaman.
This is your hotel.
Yes, Nino Hotel, and this is all the kids getting out of school. And we're going to the healing center. Okay.
I didn't. Elizabeth here in the street.
Cusco.
She's just exploration the street.
Just got here today, it's tired. So we're gonna go have a massage, and it's gonna feel good.
Massage healing with plants, with stones.
Also,
2 hours and a half. Oh, so
2.5
much.
hours.
Wow.
It's gonna be so cool.
Complete massage.
Thank you.
The street is for llama.
Yes,
For llama, not for car.
Not for cars.
It's very small street.
So there's
That worked all together for love, and so after my shamanic massage, I paid for a 4-day retreat, and I paid extra, several $100s extra, for my ceremonies to be done in private. So in preparation for the retreat that was to begin the next day, I was to drink 8 glasses of volcanic water to purify my system. And so after the shamanic massage was 3 hours long, and he used a lot of stones on me and things like that, and I'm not going to go into detail about that now, but so I drank the volcanic water at their office, and by the time I got back to my hotel room, I was having explosive diarrhea, and that went on for several hours. But that was in preparation for the ayahuasca ceremony the next day. You're to detoxify your system, and then you're supposed to only drink water, no food for the next day before you ingest the ayahuasca. So I followed all the protocol. The first day at the retreat, they picked me up at their office in Cusco and took me to the retreat center. Now the retreat center was a 20-minute drive from their office through town, then into the country, into the mountains, and then past a locked security gate, and then another couple of miles. It's a 20-minute walk from the retreat center to the gate to get back down off the mountain. So here we go. This is wonderful. This is beautiful. On the way to to lock the gate again. Yeah. Nice, private, in nature. We're here. Woohoo. This is exciting.
Welcome.
Yay.
Welcome, Coast.
Thank you. Welcome. Yes.
Manucha, saca todo ese agua, está llenando agua. Hay que sacar aquí barrer, ¿ya? A la propina. Saquen ese agua todito, boten después, ya primero lleven el agua primero.
Hola. Oh, it feels so nice. This is cool. Hola. Flowers. This is pretty. Different healings.
¿Cómo está? Bien. Hi. I am good. I'm filming here.
Welcome.
Thank
Your
you.
healing house.
Yes, it's beautiful.
These 2 rooms as for ayahuasca
Okay.
private group. This is private room when you do personal marriage.
Nice.
Especially, this is kitchen room.
I got there around noon on April 23rd, Sunday. So the first morning was wonderful. We did a clearing ceremony and a coca leaf ceremony, and I recorded these. One was outside and one was inside. The coca leaf ceremony was attended by supposedly 3 shamans. The other one, I can't remember his name, was the interpreter. She's the only one that spoke English. So I would like to have the whole thing translated to find out what was really said, but they were very accurate as far as they went into, and they had no knowledge of my psychiatric history. They went into my physical, and they said, health-wise, you're good except for your moods that go like elevator up and down, and imbalance. That was a problem. And they, predicted things about love and this and that. But I was very open and honest during the ceremony about my history. And this woman, I think at this point during the coca leaf ceremony, when she found out that I did have a history of mental illness, that I had been abused. Buenos días.
Good morning. Welcome to healing house community. Welcome, sister. Welcome to Healing Center. You have nice days. My name is. What's your name?
Elizabeth. Elizabeth.
Name.
Mucho gusto. And this is.
Me es.
And?
Yo soy maestro de la ayahuasca.
He's ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca.
So here we are, and We're in Peru, and I've already done a few ceremonies, and I'm enjoying it totally. I'm going to be here for 4 days, and I'm in between ceremonies. Tonight I do my ayahuasca. Today I did a coca leaf ceremony and a clearing ceremony, and talked a lot about my background, and just got settled, unpacked, and I haven't eaten anything today. I'm tired, a little bit tired. I'm kind of excited, and I'm looking forward to tonight. I get to eat after I do my ayahuasca ceremony, drinking lots of water, feeling good, and happy to be here, really happy to be here. So, and thanks for joining me. Yay! She started using it against me. But anyway, so the first 2 ceremonies were great. They were over at 1 o'clock. I have them recorded. I was told to sleep, and she was going downstairs for lunch. Well, I was all alone. I realized while I was laying down, because I'd unpacked everything, that I'd forgotten my mother's ashes at the hotel in Cusco. And I was panicked because I didn't want a maid to throw something away that was so precious to me. And I couldn't make a phone call. I couldn't, my cell phone was not working. I had no internet contact. I had no way to reach anyone. I attempted to send an email, and the email said, I called hello at the top of my lungs 100 times or something similar. Nobody's here. I can't find anybody. I need some help. I need to be able to communicate. And I couldn't. And for 4 hours, I was there by myself in a panic. And so I got to explore this facility. And I was able to see that there were rooms that have locks on the doors, and there were mirrors in some of the rooms, and there was nice, you know, it was clean. And anyway, so they finally returned. It was like 6 o'clock in the evening when they showed up, and I, you know, explained to her what had happened. Anyway, she wasn't understanding at all. But okay, so there was no apology from her for my lack of ability to communicate, and no compassion for what kind of trauma or pain that I was emotionally in there about the ashes. And she never did confirm or help me to reach these people. Her cell phone worked. She told me she was going to teach me to use WhatsApp, which translates and you can make international communication. She didn't do that either. So the first ayahuasca ceremony was private. It was the shaman, and I can't remember his name exactly, but he didn't speak any English at all. Then there was, and that was for the first 3.5 hours until showed up.
The master understand you. He said, "Oh, the man died. She's crying."
Is the one that did the first massage. So he came in. Okay, I've got to speed up. He came in after I stopped crying, but I cried pretty much hysterically for the first 3.5 hours, and I drank the ayahuasca, and then I was told to sit up, close my eyes, don't say a word, just be patient and turn inward. And the room began to fill with this mapacha smoke that the shamans smoke when they're doing this, and there were like 10 different mapacha cigarettes there, and by the end of the ceremony they were all gone, and it had been a closed room, and the air was really, really stale and suffocating. So after 3.5 hours of crying hysterically, and when I would, after the first half hour you start throwing up, and you start urinating, and you start having diarrhea. And this goes on, and luckily my mat was right close to the bathroom, but it was pitch dark, and I could not find my way back and forth from the bathroom to the mat. I couldn't find the toilet paper when I cried or needed to blow my nose. I didn't have help. I didn't have water. And so after I started throwing up, it was physically very uncomfortable. I was frigid. There was no heat in the whole facility, and I'm freezing, and I'm trembling, and I'm shaking, and there's no heat, and there's no help. They could have put a blanket over me. There's 2 of them there, and nobody helped me. So yeah, keep your eyes closed. Don't say anything. I hysterically cried, like what I used to do, like the last time I was in an institution or a hospital. It got to the point that I was just like, got that kind of hysteria. That's the kind of thing I was experiencing, and I think that was because the ayahuasca was helping me cure a lot of the grief and the pain from the trauma that I've experienced in my life. So the tears were very helpful. But I didn't have help getting back and forth to the bathroom. I filmed the beginning of the ceremony, and the shaman said she'd film the rest of it, which she didn't film anything for me, and plus it was pitch black, you couldn't have seen it. But she kept talking to me after an hour or two, telling me to forgive and to be grateful for the pain I'm suffering. And I just wanted her to be quiet because I wanted to have my own experience, and I didn't want somebody dictating something to me. But at the time, I didn't realize she was violating me at that point. So there was no discussion afterward the next morning or any time of the ceremony. So after 3.5 hours of crying, the shaman had been singing the whole time, his little shaman songs, and so I started singing along with the shaman for about the last 45 minutes. I sang with the shaman, I was happier. I came in, I was glad to see him. I thought he was my friend because it was a good massage. I was feeling very positive at that point, but some of the things were bothering me in my head about how she was treating me and not helping me and be so cold. So on the second day I woke up, said that she had talked to the shaman, and the shaman gave her permission to take me into town so that I could get my mom's ashes, because she wasn't telling me what was happening over the telephone. So I went into town with So he's taxiing
Taxi today is shaman taxi.
Around 10 o'clock, and I was held in town until 7 p.m. I had no transportation back out there. There's no way to get there in a cab. You can't return to, I couldn't return. So I had rushed out of the facility because they were hurrying me. Hurry, hurry, Elizabeth, hurry, Elizabeth. And I didn't bring a coat. It started raining. It was cold. I had nothing. And I had no food all that day. I had, the second ceremony was supposed to be private, and I paid extra for it to be private, but the other guy, a German guy that was there, was in my ceremony. And that asked me if it was okay. I said, well, I guess, but I really would prefer not because I paid, and she ignored me, and he was in the ceremony. So the second ceremony, I tried to leave. I was restrained, but I finally was able to get out the door. So I was able to leave the second ceremony because it was too smoky. I didn't want to listen to her talking in my head. I told her to quit talking to me, and she just continued, so I finally got away. But before I left, I was saying things like, how dare she? Or who does she think she is? Because she's trying to tell me what to think, and she's trying to prevent me from leaving. And so I went back to my room, and it was freezing cold. Freezing cold. I didn't have enough blankets. There are no locks on the doors. And the front door, which is closest to my room, was open because of water damage. It could not be shut or locked, and it was cold, and the air was coming in cold. When I woke up the day of the 24th, second ayahuasca ceremony, I should go into more detail, but right now I'm just trying to get the basic story in place. This morning I record the truth. I record the truth about the healing center. There's no privacy. The doors will not close. Can't lock a door. I have no door. I was told I'd have a private room. No privacy. That's my door. It's my bathroom, supposedly a nice private bathroom. When I came, there was no toilet paper. There was no towel. I was not taught that I had to push a button for hot water. I was here without a shower. My sink is broken. I've told them from the beginning, first day I got here, sink's broken. I was told I would get, heater. No heater. I'm filming the truth, and this is not acceptable. She said, this is not hotel. I'm paying $350 a night. She says, this is not hotel. I said, I want private ceremony. Oh, but I asked you, it's okay. No, I paid for private ceremony. I don't want you in my ceremony. I'm angry.
Sorry. I no participation in ceremonies.
Good.
No needs this. No, wait.
No.
No. This is May working. Okay?
Sure. Yeah, and she lies.
Por favor.
A ver, vamos, está grabando, tía.
Sí. Yeah.
Esa mujer está loca.
No, it's good, see? Please.
I'm going to document. I want a room with a door that locks, a sink that works, and privacy. There are many, many rooms, many, many rooms. I'm going to film them.
Miss, you purification is whole community 120 masters. You no, it's possible. Sorry, miss.
Okay, I want to talk with the owner. He needs to know what's happening here. She does not speak English. She not good translator. She provides no translator.
Translate.
She cannot speak English well enough to translate. She's not communicating. She's not expressing what I need. She said she talked to the plumber. She said she talked to a heater.
She's no.
I asked for a bathtub. She said a bathtub does not work. Bathtub does not work. Why is there shampoo and soap and toys in the bathtub? Beautiful areas. Locks on the doors. So many rooms. Rooms with locks. Rooms with bathrooms that work. Rooms with mirrors. Has a mirror. Says shamans can't have mirrors. She has a mirror. She puts on her little eyebrows. Plenty of room. Been here 3 days. Still no pool. This one, no pool. 3 days. It has a lock on her door. She has a mirror. She has a sink that works. There's a kitchen. There's a nice room on the other side of the kitchen with a door that locks. This door will not shut. Cannot shut people out. Won't lock. No door here. No privacy. Bathroom. Broken. Cold room. This is wrong. Dirty sheets. I didn't wet the bed. On the third day was the Wachama, or the San Pedro ceremony, and that was an outdoor ceremony, so that was being filmed and things were more positive, but I didn't have a translator. I was supposed to be having translators all along and private ceremonies and this and that, and anyway, I was told that I was gonna, anyway, still no dinner after that ceremony, and I was cold and hungry. And the fourth day was the flower water ceremony, the Pachamama ceremony. And now when I started, I paid them $1,700 in cash the first night, and that was $1,000 for the 4-day retreat, and another $750 for this Machu Picchu tour. So Machu Picchu was a good trip, but the translator wasn't any good. And anyway, so I returned to Ollantaytambo by train, and it's a good thing that I knew his car because he was supposed to meet me at the train, and he didn't. And I found his car and waited by his car for 20 minutes before he showed up. I didn't know where the hell he was, but at least and he didn't speak English, so I couldn't really talk to him. But I did share some of my personal history because I did. And he found out a bit about my past and started using it against me. So back at the center, well, on the evening of the 26th, they had me stay for another $35 in what was called a shaman hotel, which was just somebody else's condo because this room hadn't been cleaned. The bathroom was filthy, hair everywhere, and personal items. So I'm not sure but there was no Wi-Fi there. It was not supposed to be there because I told him, look, I don't want Anna in any more of my ceremonies. She's controlling, she's manipulative, and I don't want her in them. But this third ceremony, she decided she would be in there. She came in after I had drank the ayahuasca, and they were using extreme physical restraint. They had their arms wrapped around, okay, is pretty muscular, and he had his arms wrapped around me and his legs wrapped around me and locked, and she had her hands over my face like this, and I was trying to scream, and they kept putting paper in my mouth, and they wouldn't let me go, and I said, this is over, you let me go, this is over, done, ceremony finished, and they wouldn't let me go, and I was calling out, rape, rape, and just screaming at the top of my lungs, and they would not stop, and the first two ceremonies, the other shaman had been playing or singing music, and things like that. Well, at this point, there was no more singing. I don't even know if he was in the room because they had another session scheduled. Usually they start after dark, but this was 5:30. Mine started during the day, and so I could see what was going on, but I couldn't see who was doing what because I was so restrained. And they crushed me. They were crushing me, and I couldn't go to the bathroom. This went on for 2 hours. 2 hours, and so I couldn't go to the bathroom, and I have proof because normal people don't do this to their pants. This is, and they don't smell very nice, but this is one pair of pants, and as you can see, it's soiled, but this was on top of this other pair of pants that is extremely soiled. So this went through 2 pairs of pants, and I kept screaming when I could get my voice, when they'd take their hands away from my mouth. Obviously, they'd done this before, and I tried to bite them, and I couldn't go to the bathroom. So 2 hours of fighting them and trying to get away and told, shut up, shut up, shut up. We're healing you. And I'm like, this is not healing, and this has got to stop. So, of course, I couldn't blow my nose. I couldn't wipe my tears. There wasn't a toilet paper. Shut up, shut up, shut up. No, you shut up. Stop, stop. I mean, and I could not get away, and I'm pretty strong, and I couldn't reach to bite him. But I tried, and even yelling rape didn't stop them. The ceremony wasn't over, and somehow I cannot remember how I got out of the room, but I did get out of the room, and I finally got away. And then they wouldn't leave me alone. But I think this is enough to have on tape for a beginning, and I'll continue the rest of this maybe another time, or maybe we'll pick off where we left off. No. I think I'll go through. I'll just keep plowing through if we've got time. Okay, so some of this might be out of order. I'm doing the best I can here. So the next morning I was up at 7 a.m. and the first thing I told her was that I wanted to leave, and I needed a ride to Cusco, and I was going to the police because that was abusive behavior. I was totally cognizant of what they were doing to me. It was not kind. It was not caring. It bruised me badly, and actually broke 3 of my lower ribs. So I'm glad I had almost packed before I went and told him I needed a ride, because he came into my room and threw my things in the bag. And when I was off it, anyway, that's an aside I don't need to go into. But anyway, before we got to the gate, they stopped the car. And I had my cell phone, my computer, all of my things, and they stopped and they said, give us your cell phone and your computer, erase everything, or nobody will hear from you again. And they said, and you can scream all you want to, nobody will hear you. And so I did erase some of the things off of my cell phone in front of them and my computer. And what they didn't know was I had my camera on my lap and I had turned it on record, so I do have a clip of this, and I'm saying, take me to Cusco. They have my computer, they have my phone. I'm not making this stuff up.
From the office pictures was a reception with me. She was give pictures.
Take me to Cusco now. They're holding me prisoner. They won't give me my cell phone. They've threatened to destroy my computer and my cell phone. They've threatened to throw my cell phone away and break my... And out of the car, taking the cover off my phone. I mean, he was trying to, thank God for passwords. And the recoverable, the information I deleted was recoverable, and I did recover it, and I have the proof that I need. So anyway, so they wouldn't give me a ride to the police. They had me trapped, so I just started walking. Luckily, there is a door on the side of the gate that the cars go through that I could get through, and I got through that and walked into town. There was no cab, nothing in sight. It was early morning, but by the time I finally did get to where I could find a cab and get to the jail, I was there, but it was scary because I'd left everything behind. Luckily, I had my passport around my neck, my passport, my credit card. Then I got to the police station, and the police station was very helpful for me. But not 5 minutes after I arrived at the police station, so did. And so when I made my accusations, I made several statements for the police. A lot of them were videotaped by cell phone. 2 different reporting sessions or 2 different questioning sessions. They questioned me and they made up reports, and there was an officer, very kind-hearted, very nice officer, and I can't remember his name, but it starts with an E and I have it written down. But I was at the police station from that early morning until 4 in the afternoon because I had to see the police doctor for an hour, which was at another location, so we had to go through Cusco traffic and get to the doctor, and he took pictures of my bruises and my abrasions and the scratches that were all over my face, proving that they had stopped me from talking, or tried. And then I had to see the police psychologist for an hour, and he did a report, and then the toxicologist. All 3 of these places were at different locations, so I was all around the city, and I was in a great pain because I had nothing for it, and I had been battered. And not battered like this, but physically, emotionally, and spiritually raped. Not physically exactly as that, but still, that's what it felt like. So I met the owner of this retreat center, and he never gave his name or contact information, so I'm not sure if that's in the police report. I hope it is. But he said that he apologized, and he wanted me to take the money and stop the procedure. Well, I told him no, and he told me I'd have to fly back 3 times before I got any money back or any refunds if we did it the other way. And I told him, tough, I'm going to do it the right way. And so I asked why he allowed this to happen. And he said that he trusted me, but that they would now be fired, that he guaranteed me they would be fired. I don't believe they've been fired, and I think they could do this to anybody again tomorrow. So I hadn't eaten. I got back to my hotel room around 6:30, and I finally had a warm shower after days. And I had a fitful sleep due to the pain, but I had forgotten my day pass, which was just a ticket you buy to go into these ancient ruins. And the police actually were kind enough to bring my pass back to me from the police station. I mean, the police were so helpful, these tourist police. That next morning, April the 29th, I took pictures of my bruises in the hotel room as best I could. I took my own pictures to supplement the doctor's pictures. Okay, so these are just some of the bruises from this healing center. Here's another one. Nice bruises. And I don't know. See those? Yeah. I got an email from the police saying for me to be at the police station again at 9 o'clock in the morning. And so I dressed up and suited up and showed up, and that was 3 hours. And finally, at the end of it, I did get a $1,000 refund, which proves that they were in the wrong. There's something wrong. And the doctor's reports and the police reports, it's in Spanish. My friend Jose has translated and said what it means, and it means they were at fault, they abused me, and so I've decided to go forward with an international lawsuit, because just getting $1,000 back is not repaying me for the emotional turmoil and the trauma that I experienced and the abuse that I endured. So I contacted the lawyers. I have hired a national lawyer out of Peru. Okay, so anyway, they tried to convince me not to take the money and then just to let it go, and that's not going to happen. But at least I've got the majority of this on tape, and I'm grateful, Doctor, for you to listen to this and to be here and support me, and because you know what I've been through before that. You know.